is Immigrants Making an Impact, the podcast. Today, we are so glad to have Jennifer Haru and she is a relocating resilience and mindset coach, and she is dedicated to helping professional immigrants thrive in their new home. Jennifer, welcome.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm honored to come to your broadcast today.
Amazing. So tell us about yourself, what you do, and then we'll take it from there.
Okay, I'll start with my story. When I immigrated to Ireland, now the place I proudly call home, I found myself living in a direct provision system. It was an experience that deeply affected my mental and physical well-being. I felt overwhelmed, traumatized, depressed, and vulnerable. The uncertainty and isolation took a toll, and I knew I needed to find a way to understand what was going through and how I could take back control of my life. That inner struggle led me to pursue studies in mental health. I wanted to better understand not only my own experience, but also how could I support others facing similar challenges. My dedication gave me the language and tool to process my pain, and it sparked a deep passion to be a part of the solution for others in walking the same difficult path. I then completed a specialized training with COGIA, Pathways to Wellbeing, which focused on migrant mental health and supporting ethnic minorities. This was a turning point. I learned about unique mental health needs of immigrants communities, how systematic stress impacts us, and how cultural understanding key to healing. I continued with COGIA, mental health peer support advocate training, which deepened my knowledge of stress, trauma, and resilience. These programs changed my life. They helped me to discover my inner strength and taught me how to use practical resilient techniques to work through my own trauma and fears. I gained a clear understanding of my personality and how it relates to resilience with each step. I found more courage, confidence, and clarity. Today, I use my lived experience combined with my professional training to advocate for mental health in immigrant community. My journey has given me a unique perspective and a powerful purpose to create space for healing and connection and hope.
Wow, that is amazing. And I love that you talked about your lived experience because as immigrants, there's a lot of challenges that we go through. But if we are able to have somebody like you who is able to share her lived experience and how she has been able to, with resilience, overcome her challenges, I think it's amazing. So thank you.
You're welcome.
So you talked about how your experience led you to learn about stress and stress management. Could you tell us about some of your experiences as an immigrant, some of the challenges, and how you used the strategies that you learned through stress management to combat that?
In my work as a mental health well-being resilient coach and advocate, I've supported immigrants and asylum seekers, which I navigated trauma and loss and the pressure of starting over. I've been how displacement affects mental health, from anxiety, stress, stigma, depression to PSD. Many case stories that are deeply painful, also filled with strength. So as for me, I just doing all those trainings that I was able to advocate myself. Just because when I lived in a direct provision, it was so painful for me. It taught me a lot of things. Just because from where I come from, mental health is like it's a taboo subject.
Mm-hmm.
We don't even talk about it. So when I was living direct provision, they told me about mental health problems, which I said, what? Where I come from, no mental health is either things maybe been wished, or you've done, or those are mental ill people who just pick things in the dustbin. That's led me to do all this mental health training to understand, just because like what I've seen with immigrants, most of the immigrants, there's this stigma. We don't talk about it just because of fear of judgment. People, they don't discuss about it, or people they say about people like from the immigrant community or to talk about mental health. Like everybody said, I'm stressed, I've got depression, I've got trauma, but it's not trauma, it's not depression. When you go through these trainings, you talk to somebody, listen carefully, find that what this person is not talking is not stress, is not trauma. Maybe it's on anxiety. Just because people like for immigrant, we don't know exactly the difference between stress and trauma, anxiety and stigma and depression. Just because somebody just because I'm depressed, just say I'm depressed, but it's not depression. So doing these courses, they made me to understand. And from there, I started advocating other ladies in our center. We have about 40 women staying in our center. That made me have that passion to advocate other women, and I could understand what they are going through. So that was how I managed to overcome all those challenges in learning about people's cultures, different cultures, just got different backgrounds, how people they do things in their country, and how they think about this mental health problems, or this stigma, this is stress. For challenges, so people we used to gather together, all the ladies, we talked about mental health. We talked about our stories. The most thing is that we must share our stories, especially with we women, with people coming from different backgrounds, especially in immigrant. Some people, they come from war zones. It depends what brought them to that country. That's why I managed to overcome some of those challenges and helping other women.
I think your journey is very, very interesting. And I love that your passion is not only for immigrants, but also for migrants and refugees. Tell us about your work with all these group of people.
With immigrants, I work with professional women, which I help them to navigate and adapt in their new environment. They come to this country, most people will come to this country find that the most challenging thing is about language barrier. That's the most challenging thing, is language. So I help them so they can enroll in schools, so they can learn the language. The most language is English. They must learn English. And also how to integrate in their community and how to build a community network which can support them. They can go in their community, integrate and talk to their community and thrive and go to cooking schools or dancing classes or library, join the club books with other women. As for asylum seekers, most of the asylum seekers that are in the direct provision, where we go there and advocate that their mental health. Those people that are staying, the asylum seekers, they'll be thinking, what about if I don't get papers? What about if I'm going to be deported? They've got so many challenges. Some people, they cannot even sleep just because of trauma which they have. They'll be thinking, what about if? What about if this happened?
Mm-hmm.
What about if I don't get papers? What's going on with the whole world? Immigrants, there's got the challenges. Asylum seekers, like some people that have been deported, some people don't get papers. So I go there to advocate them and tell them, some people, they be just staying, said, no, don't have to wait, I'll get papers. You must go to school, register schools online, do something, do gardening, do knitting, do sewing. You don't have to wait and just have sit. So doing those things, it makes their mind occupied.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to think anything more. So by the time they get their papers, they've done all these courses, they can be able to go and get some jobs and integrate into the community and thrive. And I support them with all those tools, build their resilience so they can thrive in their environment. They don't have to wait and say, oh, I wait until I get papers, then I can start looking for a job, I can do this. Especially the asylum seekers, and there's too much discrimination as well. Amongst immigrants, asylum and refugees, there's too much discrimination. So we advocate them, this is not your country, but just have to take it step by step until you get there. And also, especially on these days, the challenge of housing as well. You find it's a mother with about grown-up children staying in one room with boys as well. So it's quite challenging. And also, I advocate people like when they're going to hospital, if it's other immigrants who cannot speak English, they go to the hospital, they cannot express themselves. So we get all those signposts where they can go, get help, or what can they do. And we get other like people, interpreters, or people from other countries who can take them to the hospital. They can able to talk to the doctor, express what they are feeling. It's different to get an interpreter and to get somebody from their same country.
Mm-hmm.
So interpreting is different from someone talking direct from your own country. That expression is to be different.
Yeah.
So we try and get people from their own country who can speak their language.
Interesting. You are really doing impactful work, and we are glad to have you on the show. So, if I may ask, what is the best kind of help that, as a people, we can offer immigrants, refugees, and asylum seekers?
What kind of we can help with asylum seekers just to support them, sharing services with those who need them, donating, supporting advocates for refugees, or simply taking open up about mental health in your own circles, normalizing the conversation a huge step forward.
Wonderful. So let's come to you. After working with immigrants and also for working with a lot of people in the minority, refugees, asylum seekers, what advice can you give to them?
What advice I can give to asylum seekers and immigrants that they must keep on pushing and they must learn. What's immigration? There are those people who can say they are courageous, they are healers, dreamers, and change makers. They carry stories the world needs to hear. So they deserve space where their mental health is valued just as much as their survival.
So they have to keep pushing, they don't have to give up.
Yes.
Tell us some personal qualities or skills you think that has been most critical in your success as an immigrant.
Skills in an immigrant, yes, for me, after doing my courses, my skills about doing mental health as a peer advocate, that helped me a lot just because it changed my life.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I started advocating myself first before I advocate other people. So using all those techniques which I've learned on resilience, it helped me a lot. And helping other people as well, learning from what people they are going through, that helped me a lot.
Well said. So it all comes back to your lived experiences. You have learned a lot of things, and that is what you are using to also help others today.
Yes.
What will be the most important thing you would do today to make tomorrow better?
The most important thing I'll do to make more better is that I have to go out there. If I meet somebody who's coming from a new immigrant coming to the country, coming from a war zone or from a red zone, I have to listen to them, non-judgmental, and help them. Just conversation, just talking to them and helping them.
I love that you talk about you have to listen to them and not judge them because as immigrants, as refugees and asylum seekers, we come from all sorts of backgrounds. So you want to be that listening ear and also that helper for them.
Yes, yes. Just because before I did my training, when I was staying in the direct provision, just because they've got this thing, we immigrants, with that belief of that these people from this country, they're like this. These
Mm,
people from this country, they're like this. Oh, these people from the Canada, they're this. Just because they try to isolate, just was what we had. But if you start integrating and living with those people, you find their own stories. They're not, it's different.
hmm
You must go on the ground and talk to them and live with them. You find that what we hear or what we have heard is different.
mm, absolutely. You have to
Just because
be.
maybe the head of one person did something wrong, you just think,
Mm,
oh, they're all these people from this country, they are the same, which is not.
exactly. That we do not sit somewhere and conclude that because of ABC, we tag a group of people and then
Yes.
we just condemn them.
Like when I was in the job provision, I was lucky that I was the caretaker. just because I was working as a caretaker as well. So I was also a peer advocate. That was time it was during COVID. I used to do some collaboration with other the NGOs on the Zooms about mental advocating others, people in other centers. So that gave me that strength, how to handle and how to listen, to judge and have that trust. We women, we are staying together. If I'm talking to you, you want to know what was I talking about? What is that? Not that gossiping. How are we with these women gossiping? But that taught me not to say, to have that confidentially, that if somebody tell me something, I don't have to talk to somebody about somebody else. That was only with the immigrants. If you're dealing with immigrants or even any people, don't judge people. Just have active listening. Some people, they don't need anything, just to listen to what people they are saying, that ear and that trust. People, for me, work with me, they trust me first. Without trust, they won't work with you.
Beautiful. Tell us about failure. How has failing played a role in your immigrant journey?
Really, it was a stepping stone, a redirection. Just I failed, then I have to see why did I fail, what went wrong. Then I have to do it better. So people, they think if they fail, that's the end of the world. We must find out what happened and what can you do about it. It's a stepping stone. They tell that this direction not going this wrong direction. You fail, maybe you're doing something wrong you're not supposed to be doing. Or maybe you're supposed to be, you are taking like a skill. You're going to a teacher. You're not supposed to be a teacher. So teaching it doesn't work. So that's, try and add something else before this thing will work. So failure, they mustn't be fear of failure. They must embrace failure. They must be friends with the failure. Then the failure will teach you so many things.
We could listen to you all day, Miss Jennifer. Yes, so we should embrace failure. Failure can be used as a stepping stone, and failure is not negative at all.
No, it's not negative. But people just think failure is a negative. It's not. It's telling you something. It's a redirection.
Let's talk about your legacy. So, in everything that you are doing, what legacy do you hope to leave?
I hope to leave a legacy of compassion, driven care, a mental health practice that not only provided healing, but also empowered people to become advocates for themselves and their communities. I want to normalize mental health conversation in immigrant families and break intergenerational cycles of trauma.
Wonderful. That's a beautiful legacy. We have talked a lot about mental health, and mental health as what people call ethnic minority, which includes immigrants and refugees and asylum seekers. Many people do not understand what mental health is because it's a taboo for many communities. So could you explain to us what is mental health?
Mental health is everybody has got mental health. Doesn't mean that they are an asylum seeker, and mental health is just something, just people thinking, or some mental health, it affects everybody. It doesn't matter whether they're president, not everybody got mental health, but it comes in different ways to people. Like, yes, for me, immigrants, what is more talk about immigrants, what they've got is so heavy on immigrants, just because the reason behind when they come to that country, how they are, like that stigma, just because it's a taboo subject. They don't talk about mental health, like in our communities, where we come from. If you want to, I'm doing that, stop talking about this what is mental health, as long as still surviving. So keep on going, but then have a burnout. So this is what mental health is different in so many ways. So mental health is that depression that we'll be thinking, or something happened over trauma, like there's a death, it can affect people, or somebody gets in an accident, it affects that mental health. But yes, for us, you said we don't know this is affecting our mind. That's why we came when advocating to the people when they tell us their story. Or like what I find out, if you tell somebody this is mental health, they shut up, they shut you down. But they will say, how is your well-being? They start telling, I'm feeling like this. And then you tell them, when they understand this is what they are going through, then you tell them, then later on, this is what you call mental health. But if you approach people like from ethnic minority immigrants who doesn't know mental health, who just heard about mental health, they're not mental health, somebody who's ill, who's not okay upstairs. So if you ask them, how is your mental health? That shit you does it, I'm fine. But you just ask them, how is your well-being?
Mm-hmm.
They start expressing themselves. Then from there, you can tell this what kind of mental health they have got. Is
Mm-hmm.
this stress? Is it anxiety? Is this trauma? Is it depression? Is it PSD? Then after that, advocating them and helping them, when they understand what you're talking about, then review them. This is what we call mental health. You cannot just go and tell somebody about mental health, otherwise they won't say anything, or you won't be good friends anymore until they know what is mental health.
Insightful.
Just because you find that people, what I've discovered when I came here, women, they quickly understand what's mental health than men. Men, they don't open up. That's I find there's too much people suicide with men. They don't talk until they're out. They just, oh, I might just take my life.
Very, very insightful. And you have really opened our eyes to many things. Our approach to mental health, that when you talk about mental health, people shut down. But if you could just ask them about their well-being, then people are able to open up and tell you what is
Yes.
going on. And then you can bring the attention to the fact that, okay, I think you are not, maybe you feel anxiety, you are not at peace, then you can then come in with mental health issues.
Yes, yes.
And so, if somebody around us is, after we have talked with them and then we think they are having mental health issues, what will be the first approach to helping them?
You advocate them, what is it? So it depends how they stay, what they are. Yes, for me as a PM and as an advocate, there are some things which are deeper, like a trauma. I have to get a psychologist, refer them to psychologists or to the doctors. I do my part as an advocate to see how I can help them. If I can say this is deeper, to refer them to the specialists.
Okay. You have shared a lot with us. It's time for us to invite our community to support you. How can our listeners support you right now?
There are so many ways to support come from sharing what I've said before, like sharing our services with those who may need them, donating a support of advocates for refugees, or simply talking openly about mental health in your own circles. Normalizing conversation, a huge step forward, talking about it openly to people. That's how we can support people. They must know about it. Talking our stories.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. And so, where can people find you and connect with you?
They can connect me on LinkedIn.
On LinkedIn.
Yes.
Under which name?
Jennifer Haru Chipa.
All right. So finally, as we are wrapping up, please complete the sentence for us. Immigrants are
courageous, as I said before. They are healers, they are dreamers, and change makers. They carry stories the world needs to hear and deserve space where their mental health is valued just as much as their survival. So
sweet. Thank you so much, Jennifer Haru Chipa, for coming on the podcast. We are glad you came and we have learned so much from you. Please keep up with the good work and thank you once again.
Thank you. I'm very honored to be here on a broadcast. Thank you very much.